Well, hello everybody. You may know that I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I basically live Final Fantasy XIV, this game right here. And you may also know that Final Fantasy XIV, when it came out in 2010, a lot of people hated it, and then they fired the producer, or they didn't fire the producer, but they removed the producer. They put him on some other project, and they got a new one, and they just changed the game, and then they finally just got rid of the game and built a new one. And I really like the first game. I don't really like the second one. So I've been working on a side project. I've put a couple hundred hours into it so far, to not much luck until now. And basically I'm wanting to build my own version of Final Fantasy XIV. Maybe just a single player game, but I basically want to make a really high definition demo of the world. Because I've been able to extract weapons, and I've been able to extract characters from the game, but I've never been able to extract the landscape itself. And so, up until now, I've taken weapons, and I would take the weapons and I'd make them extremely high definition. I would take the mesh and then I just slowly keep upgrading it, because it's really easy to start with something low quality and upgrade it, but it's very difficult to build my own thing from a plane or whatever. So in this video, I'm going to try to rip the 3D landscape from the world of Final Fantasy XIV, maybe in little sections of it, because I can't rip the entire thing yet. I would have to visit each place and rip each area of the 3D mesh and then combine it together in Blender. But here's how I'm going to try to do it. And sorry to tell you, but I'm not going to be able to use my really beefy computer because it's 64-bit, and one of these programs requires 32-bit, so I'm going to have to go back to my old reliable 7-year-old PC, my Optiplex 320, and that means I won't be able to use Fraps to record it, because this computer has one processor at 3 GHz and 1 gig of RAM. It can barely handle Final Fantasy XIV, let alone Final Fantasy XIV and Blender and 3D Ripper DX. So you're going to have to make do with just watching it through the camera instead of having a direct video copy of it, but oh well. So first off, I shall be using a little program called 3D Ripper DX. What 3D Ripper DX does is it injects itself into whatever program you're running, as long as it's DirectX 6, 8, or 9. And then it saves the 3D data. Basically, it takes a 3D snapshot of wherever you are in the game, and so it saves all the textures, meshes, and shading stuff inside a folder, and then you can extract that and use whatever you need. And also what you'll need is the original Final Fantasy XIV installation, and you'll also need the 7th Umbral Era server emulator. 7th Umbral Era server emulator is really awesome. The guy that made it, he is awesome. Or she, I think it's he though. Anyway, you don't actually have to keep the same installation. You can put a new installation on, because the 7th Umbral server emulator does have the possibilities to patch your program, so you aren't screwed if you've deleted your installation since 2013. And just as comparison, this is the icon for the new Final Fantasy down there, the blackish one. I know it's hard to see, but oh well. So now whenever we open up 3D Ripper DX, we see this number of menus right here. The first one is what program we open up, because you have to open up a program through 3D Ripper. So you tell it to open up Half-Life, and then you're running Half-Life inside of 3D Ripper, and you can always extract Lambda Core or Black Mesa Facility from the game while you're playing it in 3D Ripper. Now, the other one is command line parameters. I don't really know for sure what that is, but down here you can actually change it to where you can have the capture key. So you can, that's basically the 3D screenshot. You have the wireframe mode key, so evidently you can turn it to wireframe. I haven't tested that, but I think we should test that. Over here you have some other fiddly things. Then down here you have the output for your shaders, your textures, and your frames. The frames is the actual 3D model. Now, there's actually two other ways that you can monitor your game and record from it. There's global system monitoring, which only works in 32-bit, and there's just direct executable monitoring, which you execute that by clicking launch. Now, the other thing is, though, I've also found that the just directly monitoring a program can only work in 32 bits. For instance, in this one, it says that you can directly monitor Final Fantasy XIV in a 64-bit computer, but unfortunately it doesn't actually work. So it works best with 32 bits because that's what it's all made for. So now whenever we hit launch, 3D Ripper DX will open up 7th Umbral server emulator, and then while that's open, I'll log into Final Fantasy XIV's server, and that will open up Final Fantasy XIV, and that will be running Final Fantasy XIV with 3D Ripper DX running in the background. And then we can press F12 to extract the 3D models. So let's give it a go. I'm going to hit launch. Okay. Now this will take quite a while to load, probably, because it is, well, maybe it'll go pretty fast, I don't know. Aha! See up there? We have the yellow words that say ready to capture. And that means that it's all working properly. That is awesome. Let's go to start. It's very low quality, but oh well, it's the best I can do. So let's test it out by hitting F12. Okay, the game is frozen, and up there is saying capturing frame. This can take up to 5 minutes, so we'll wait a little bit while it's capturing the frame. Okay, so it's done now. We'll go to My Computer, Documents, 3D Ripper DX, and Frames. Now we have some frames right here. Now, a couple of these ones are actually duplicates because I just copied the same exact scene a couple hours ago when I was testing with it. Now we'll open up Blender while Final Fantasy is running. Computer's really lagging right now. We'll go to, I'll just clear the scene, and we'll go to Import. We're going to import a wavefront file, or .obj object. We'll go to Documents, 3D Ripper DX, Frames, and here we are. Take a little bit to load. Ah, nice. Okay, so let me just center the camera view on there. Here is our guy. It's funny how all this is set up just for the menu. Now, unfortunately, with 3D Ripper DX, it always pulls it out kind of distorted. See, like that. So we'll go SY2. Makes it a little better. I remember when a couple of the weapons that I pulled out, they were kind of distorted, but they're all distorted the same amount, so you can always know to expand it like 2 times in the Y direction and like 0.5 times in the Z direction or whatever. So there we are. That's our character. Let's go find more. Aha, there we are. And I'll press F12 to load and to take the shot. This should take a little longer because there's a lot more stuff in the scene now. And we're done. Open up Blender. Oh, Blender's already open, wait. Import .obj Documents 3D Ripper DX. Now I hope it copies the entire room, you know. Well now. Kinda rotated it, but oh well. Looks like it's skewed a little bit, but it is something to work with, which that's good. Looks, wait a minute, that's reversed. The bed's supposed to be on that side of the room. Is it? Yeah, it's reversed. I'll keep that in mind. This is really laggy. Really, really laggy. Let's go out. think I'm finding what the maximum for my computer is. I'll turn down the sound. F12? Wait a minute. F12 isn't working anymore. There we go, F12. Okay, let's try that now. Whoops. $88 megs. Getting even bigger. Well now, look what I got. After about 3 hours of tinkering, I got the entire level. It comes out to having almost 700,000 polygons, which is really lagging this computer, especially because I have it running in 2 instances. Because see, what happened was, evidently over a certain size of a map, there becomes issues in the output file. And so I had, Blender would not load it, it kept getting errors. So instead, I loaded it into MeshLab, which this computer is spazzing out. I loaded it into MeshLab, and then I saved it as an object file, which you can see here. I don't know what I'm doing. Never used it, but I just use it to import it and then I export it. And see, what MeshLab does is, if there is an issue with the object file, it will at least load what is good. And so most likely there is one polygon or something in here that's out of place, but if it really matters, I'll find it and I'll fix it. But like, we got everything here. We got the airship landings. We got the bric-a-brac? No, the bric-a-brac's in Ulda. Never mind. I can't remember the name of everything, but yeah, this is pretty awesome. Now that we figured out how to convert the 3D files to something I can use, I'm just going to go around and start collecting as much data as possible. I'll go up to Northern Gridania and get a 3D screenshot up there too. I say we take a screenshot here. Let it all load. It's capturing now. Because basically what it does is it pauses the game, saves the DirectX files from RAM. Oh, yep, here we are. And then it just saves that as an object file, I think, yeah. It just occurred to me, if I open up the map, I wonder if I'll get this map as a texture in the file also. That'd be pretty cool. So, let's convert it again, or take another 3D screenshot. Well, I think that's enough for this area. Let's teleport to Lenosha. After we're going to be going to Red Rooster Inn, I think. It's next to Camp Bloodshore. Hey, it didn't freeze up. That's awesome. Gonna capture this area right here. Well, that kind of sucks. But anyway, so I've gone around most of the eastern side of Lenosha and gotten a lot of 3D screenshots and stuff, so let's work with that. It's plenty of work to work with. If only it wouldn't keep freezing up on me. So here we've imported one of the maps into my big computer, and you can tell the sphere on the outside, this is supposed to be the sky map. This is where like the stars and the clouds are printed onto, or have the textures onto. And you can tell that it's all squished. Well, a good way to get undo that is we'll scale it in the y direction by 2.4. And we'll add a cylinder. Wait, what? Did I add it? Oh, okay, I guess I didn't. Because I added a circle instead of a cylinder. Oh, okay. I didn't know there was one there. S2000. Whoops, all too big. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it on the x-axis by 90. So we have a perfect sphere. And let's just say that the z-axis is the correct axis. So we'll line that up, and then we will scale it in the x by 1.35. That looks to be about right. And then we go to the front view, so we can rotate by z 90. And that looks round also. So we can use the sky map on the outside as like a template, and then we can just delete the cylinder. And then we can go into here, and we can delete whatever we don't need. But unfortunately, my computer likes to crash whenever that happens. So delete that, and I've already extracted a good amount of it. Like for instance, we have limbs of Lemenza right there, and we have Camp Bloodshore and all that stuff, and they seem to fit up pretty nicely right here, like so. Very, very big map though, so you might want to make it a lot smaller. For instance, here we have like this. It's a really nice detail, but whenever you get really close up to stuff, the detail isn't too good. Like for instance, here's my character over here, so that means in a circle around that area, it had really high quality, and then the further away from that you get, the lower and lower the quality is. Like a lot of these boats over here, it doesn't even have all the polygons for the boats. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to piece together the map, and then I'll slowly fill in areas that I want to have higher quality. And the really good thing about this game was it had a lot of copy-pasted areas, so I could just copy-paste stuff together. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about with the quality difference. On this bridge right here, you can see that these 4 bridge bolts are within the range of my character to have high quality, but over here it's lower quality because that's the level of detail. Because you can't render everything. This stuff right here is 1.7 million polygons, and it even lags my computer. It takes about 3 gigabytes of RAM, but it's going to be awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. See ya!